One of the first things that people tell you about long distance real estate investing is that you have to have a dream team. But what exactly does that mean? And what does that look like as well? If you keep watching, I'll show you the exact process that I went through for putting together my real estate investing dream team. What is up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, then my name is Javon and this is my third video in my real estate out of state investing playlist. If you have not yet caught my other two videos, I'm going to leave them linked above so you guys can check those out as well. I have two videos out so far. I suggest that you watch them all in a progression so that way you can see how this goes from start to finish. Now, this is a quick disclaimer. I'm not a guru or a real estate investor professional or licensed or anything like that. I am just a investor who is sharing his journey, his process, his trials and tribulations with you guys. So with that being said, any advice that you take from this channel, I heavily suggest before you put any money into anything that you go see licensed professionals, certified people to talk to and create a plan with so that way you can get some really good solid advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube sharing his journey with you. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into what did I start doing in order to create my dream team so that way I can invest in out-of-state real estate. So the very first thing that I did was read. That's right, I read. I've always been a heavy reader because I truly believe that you should be able to learn from other people's mistakes. That way you can avoid creating those same mistakes. So one of the first things that I did was I grabbed this book by R.M. Andrew, and it's an out-of-state investing book. And I really loved it because it was quick and simple and to the point. It wasn't really long. It had about 100 pages in it, but it had really good content on things that the author went through and the experiences that he gathered as well. So that way you can learn from it and go out and do better and basically have like a little mini blueprint. So I read that book, and if you are interested in it, I've left a link down below so that way you can check it out as well. It is an affiliate link, so that way if you use it, then I might get a little percentage of that money, but I am not saying that because I get a percentage. I'm advertising it because I truly believe that it is a phenomenal book. It taught me a lot, and I've read and reread it multiple times. So there's a lot of good value there that you can use to implement in your first stage of investing out of state. After I read that book and I had my game plan put together, the next thing that I did was I hopped on BiggerPockets in order to find the first unofficial member of my team, and that person is the local investor. Now, keep in mind, you guys, whenever you're going to be investing in the area, according to what I read and according to what I believe, you want to seek out people who are also doing the same thing to find out what they did that makes it work for them or what they did that you should probably avoid. It is very nice to know what other people are doing because, like I said, success leaves clues. If you see someone is succeeding in a certain area, maybe you can copy what they do or simulate what they do and reproduce the results for yourself. So I hopped on BiggerPockets and I chatted on multiple forums asking for investors their opinions about the market that I wanted to go into. And once I got a list of investors that were willing to talk to me, I called up each one and I asked them specific questions. Some of the questions that I asked them include, how long have they been investing in the area that I'm interested in going into? What kind of properties do they own? Is it single family, multifamily, duplexes? What kind of properties are they currently owning in that area? I wanted to know if there were any zip codes that they would recommend that I go to or any zip codes that they specifically recommend that I stay away from. And I also wanted to know if they could recommend any property managers, any real estate agents that they work with, or any contractors that they would like to send my way so that way I can do business with them. And one of the reasons that I got that last question from them is because, you guys, this theory that I've seen before, I believe it because it's true in my own life. I think that rock stars know rock stars, meaning people who are doing really well in their field are going to be working with other people who are also doing really well in their field as well. So I took those recommendations and I went from there. Now, the questions that I showed on the screen were not the only questions that I asked these local investors. I asked so many things, but those were some of the most prevalent questions that I asked that I think can be really helpful to you. The next official team member that I decided to seek out was the property manager. Now keep in mind, you guys, when you are investing in out-of-state real estate, your property manager is going to be your eyes and ears on the ground. This person is going to be your first line of defense to handle something in case anything goes wrong. So you want to make sure that you establish a good relationship with whoever your potential property manager is going to be. So after I got finished talking to some investors, I had a list of property managers that I could go and talk to. So one of the first property managers on my list, I called them up, I asked them multiple questions, and I really liked the answers that they gave me. Some of the questions that I asked them included, how many properties does the company currently manage? What is the maximum amount of properties assigned to each individual manager? What are your vacancy rates? What do you charge to manage a property? Now, of course, I asked a ton more questions than just those that I provided on the screen. Those questions can be found in the book that I linked down below in the description. All these questions I got from there and from other forums. I asked so many questions, but those 5 about sums up the gist of what I was asking and what I wanted from them. Now, the first property management company that I talked to, I actually really liked. Talking to them was really friendly. They went above and beyond to answer all of my questions or to find out the answers to my questions. And I really felt like we had built up a rapport. So after talking with them, I wanted to work with them. But here's the thing, you guys. After saying that, yes, I would like to work with you guys, afterwards I found that my experience or my relationship with them kind of started to steadily decline. And what I mean by that is after a while, it took maybe 2 to 3 days for someone to respond to my email. And that didn't really vibe well with me. So afterwards, what I did was I started looking for different property managers. Again, this time I casted a wide net. I interviewed multiple people until I found a company. I found someone that I thought that I could really work with and develop a relationship with. That experience by itself is why I personally believe in investing in an area that has a nice sized population. Because think about it, even though you can probably get a good return in small towns, you have fewer options of who to work with if the population decreases. So let's say you go to a small town like 15,000, 20,000 people there, and there's only 2 to 3 property management companies, and you don't like 2 out of the 3 of them. Now you're only left with one option, and if that one option turns sour, you're left with nothing. So if the population increases, you have more opportunities to work with multiple different people in case anything goes wrong. At least that's my 2 cents. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If I could get you to do me a huge favor, smash that like button down below so that way this video grows and reaches out to more people who like this type of content. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe while you're down there so that way you don't miss a video whenever I post the next one in the series. With all that being said, I'm gonna let you guys dive back into the video. After I talked with the property manager and I found one that I thought I could really work with, my next step was to go and talk to a lender. Now, I know a lot of people sometimes that the first person they go talk to is probably going to be a real estate agent. I chose to talk to a lender instead because since I am investing out of state and also because I'm very young, I didn't want lenders to be turned off by that fact and to think that I'm not about my business, really. I wanted them to take me seriously when I came to them. So the best way that I thought that I could do that was by already being pre-approved for a loan. So I went to a lender. I looked for multiple different lenders within the area that I was interested in, and I asked each one of them certain questions. The questions that I'm going to leave on the screen that I asked for them is, up to what loan to value will you finance? From appraisal to closing, how long has the process taken you on average this year? Will you guys hold my loan in shop inside of the house, or will you sell it off? What is the maximum amount of properties that I can finance with you guys? How is an escrow established? Now, of course, I asked way more questions than those, you guys. And if you want to find those questions again, it is in the book. But after asking those questions, I found a lender that I thought that I could work with, and I went for it with them. I will say I did encounter a problem with some lenders. Some lenders did not want to work with me because I wasn't in their geographical area, right? And I thought that was kind of weird, but apparently they didn't want to develop relationships with out-of-state investors who were really just out of state. And it kind of rubbed me in a weird way, but a lady lender told me at one point that there were so many people in California with high raises that can't afford to invest in California, so they come to areas that cost less to invest in, and I guess they rubbed off some people wrong with how they did business. So if you're watching this video in California, thanks for making this harder on me. No, I'm just joking. But honestly, you guys, even if a bank decides that, hey, they don't want to work with you because you are not in their geographical area, it doesn't matter. Just go find a different bank. And it's not hard because honestly, if your credit is good, if you have the amount of cash needed to buy an investment property, and if you show that you are a good person to loan money to, banks are going to be fighting for you. So those are some of the things that I talked about in video 1 and 2 about making sure you're ready before you start investing. But if you have all your ducks in a row, it's not going to be a problem to find a bank that is willing to work with you. I had no problem in finding other banks that's willing to work with me. It was only those 1 or 2 that were, I don't want to work with you. And that was okay because I had already talked to some others that were willing to work with me. I was just shopping around at that point. And the last team member that I'm going to be discussing in this video is, of course, the real estate agent. Now, you guys, just like the property manager is going to be an important piece of your dream team, so is the agent. This is your eyes on the ground guy or woman. This person is going to be bringing you deals constantly, analyzing the deals with you, putting in offer letters for you. So you have to make sure that you find somebody that you can work with and someone who is dependable. So just like I asked multiple questions to the local investor, to the property manager, to the lender, I was asking questions to my real estate agent to make sure that they were the right person for me. So some of the questions that I asked the real estate agent was, have they invested in property themselves before? Have they ever worked with an out-of-state investor? Are they willing to walk through properties and send me video recordings of those walkthroughs since I can't be there myself? Have they ever walked through a property with a contractor or a property manager? Are they used to working with other members of your dream team so that way you can get the best possible deal for yourself? I asked so many questions, and you may be thinking, Javon, how did you find your real estate agent? That part was actually really simple. The first thing I did was I went to Zillow, and when I went to Zillow, you can see the agents for a specified area if you specify an area. After I specified an area, I looked at all the agents that have been selling that have been making transactions within the past couple of months. So I created a list of those agents, and then I looked at the type of listings that they sold. If I saw that the listings that they sold or the listings that they had some type of involvement with the transaction, then I noted if that property was a type of property that I myself could buy or I myself could afford, or basically, was it in my niche? If it was in my niche and that agent had a lot of properties or a lot of transactions that fit my niche, then I put them to the top of my list for people to call. If they did a lot of property transactions, but none of them really fit me or what I did, then I put them down to the bottom, and I assumed that they probably weren't going to be the best person to find the type of deals that I was looking for. After I did that, I called up multiple people. I asked them those same questions that I put on your screen, and I picked the best one out of the group. I hope this video has been extremely helpful to you guys. If not, if you have more questions, let me know down in the comments what they were, and I will do my best to respond or make another video to answer all of your questions. I listed off the local investor, the real estate agent, the lender, the property manager, and there are going to be other people that you work with, guys. It doesn't just stop with them as far as your dream team. Those are the core pieces in my head, but you also have your title company, your insurance company, your contractors. You also have other members that you may have to build. But from my experience so far, getting in contact with the rest of those people is easy once you start realizing what type of deals you want, etc. They just kind of fall into place. So that's why I didn't put those in this video. Now, if you like this content, if you love how transparent I'm being about this whole entire process, then do me a huge favor and smash that like button down below until it turns blue. You see, guys, it helps me grow this channel and it helps this video reach out to more people who might be interested in this type of content. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that big old subscribe button down below as well, because I'm going to be dropping videos in this playlist as I continue on my journey, and I don't want you to miss a single thing. Hopefully this has been helpful. It's definitely been real. And until next time, peace, love, and happiness.